All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we are taking a look at GTII and ENZC. So, man, GTII, again, the last few videos I was talking about the weekly, all right? I was very much afraid that we'd now lost the 200 moving average and we were basically going to see weeks of pain. This was obviously a very good week, and I'm going to talk about the weekly a bunch actually, because I think the weekly chart actually looks better than the daily chart, okay? I'm really curious what happened on this day. Was there any actual news on the 21st, or did we literally take the RSI so low at this 2 that the next day was just kind of like a natural recovery, right? So I'm going to ask that one more time, but yeah, we've got some things to talk about on GTII for sure, okay? ENZC, look, the last time I made the video, I was saying that there was some room for the thing to make a good swing trade, and it actually did. It hit the first one. I don't quite believe we cracked into the 6 cent range. I might be wrong. I really didn't look at the market that hard on Friday. Obviously, there were no videos made on Friday, right? But yeah, I know, again, ENZC hit the first swing, which is great. Again, if it could get into 6, that's really where I was going to get a little excited, but I'm not sure if it happened yet, but we'll take a look at that together. But again, before we go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines, as well as these diagonal trend lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this thing on the internet, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do really does help me out with these YouTube algorithms, all right? So let's get going. In GTII, look, the last time we made the video, I thought we might come into the 70s. And I mean, yeah, we literally wick my line, let alone open it on this big day, right? And I don't know if I drew any lines below that. I didn't. But I remember saying, hey, if this line is lost, really, really scary things could happen. So I am very much glad it happened, okay? Now, here's the thing. Again, you know I'm not a fanboy, right? So I'm just looking at the charts, and I'm hoping for the teamwork that we've made on this channel, right? I give technicals, you give fundamentals, we make a good little team here. So was there any news that justified this spike? Okay, because look, we've seen big spikes before and they just do nothing but come down. We've seen decent spikes before, nothing but just come down. This is a big spike. This one does hold a little bit better than the last ones have, especially, right? But again, I'll talk about the moving in a second, but just please let me know on Wednesday the 21st, was there any actual justification for the movement, all right? Now look, it was a very low RSI. One more time, look at that, a 2.13, all right? So the fact that the RSI was so low, and we because sometimes I say if it's too high, we need to do a cool down, right? There's no like bloodbaths like down, 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 down. They also kind of need to cool off so that they can kind of keep going down, 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 right? It's the same logic as the up, 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 just obviously going worse for your money, right? But I'm really not sure if this was nothing more than an RSI reset to the 40 so it can keep going down, or if this was justified. And I think that's pretty important to know. Look, we're still holding this downtrend. I'm going to basically just extend the line. All right. Again, you'll see I'm hitting this corner, that corner. This is my line. This actually tested it a little bit. And again, we've done it before too, right? I don't remember when I drew the lines, but nonetheless, we're still below the downtrend. And look, as much as we broke the 8 and the 20 on this day, that's a horrible confirmation. Obviously, we don't even get to hold the 20, right? This day, again, looks decent. Obviously, Friday ended positive, but still closes under the 20, right? You can clearly see that the line is above where we close at this 0.88, right? So I still do not believe that we've taken these two lines. I'm curious to see if Monday will hold this 8 moving average. What it really needs to do is come here. We really need to come to 9 1/4, right? So 92.5, 93 cents is what we're looking for. And actually, I did just notice it. That was basically 50% of this. Like, that's a very small candle, so I'm not going to draw a line right there, right? But we got to get on the better side of the downtrend, and that will obviously mean we've taken these moving averages. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of keep going down, because again, on the weekly, what scared me was once we lose all the moving averages, you tend to just come down, 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 right? And again, we're under all 5 moving averages. I like that this week's candle completely ate last week's candle. That's very optimistic in my book, because again, I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised we didn't lose this and kept going down. You know what I mean? So and really, again, I'm also going to say, I think I'm a little surprised at how well these 2 days held, given what we've seen before with the last like big pops. I think those were, even this one, I guess, held a little bit well. Still never actually got over the 20. It's a little hard to see, but you can see the orange lines right there. The 20 is the pesky line right now, and hey, we're going down, we're going horizontal, we're either going to go up or down. That's kind of how these parabolic stocks work, right? So I think 93 cents is probably going to be the money line. I think it's going to be really hard to get over 113, because roughly speaking, this 50 is probably going to hit 113 over the next few days. And yeah, we've struggled with the 8 and 20. But again, hey, if we can break both of these, there's some decent spacing here, and we'll kind of see what happens. But I think I have to stay relatively pessimistic until we can get over the dollar. Because getting over the dollar obviously puts us over the 20 moving average as well as the 8 moving average on the weekly, all right? And I think because the last couple of videos I've been weekly heavy, I still want to kind of lean weekly heavy here. And hey, one more time, this is a good weekly. We ate the entire candle before, right? Like, took it all back. Like that. I do. I just wish we can get over this, and I need to get over this for sure. So GTII, end of the day, we hit the 70 I thought we would. I'm really glad we didn't give it up, all right, because that would have been a very scary 50 cents, and I know I talked about it on the last video. Clearly I didn't draw it here, right? So ENZC, let's take a look at ENZC. And again, ENZC, look, I say this often, right? Green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 right? Unfortunately, too many moving averages kind of stopping the continuation, right? And I do remember saying, I'm not sure if we're actually going to get into the high 5s, because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the weekly chart was that, right? It was going to be really hard to get over that 50 and 20 cluster right there, right? So yeah, if it could get into the 6s, I remember, well, now what number is this actually? 6.5. But yeah, if it could get into 6.5, man, that looks like a really, really nice 33% swing right there. Maybe even higher actually, because again, green, 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 red, 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 till right here would be green, 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 green theoretically, right? So 6.5 cents really, really is the money line on this, okay? In some ways, you can argue 5.7 could be, because again, going from 5.7 all the way to roughly 6.5, that's a big swing. Again, I know no one wants to talk about pennies here, right? All the Twitter people want to be millionaires on this one. And hey, if it can do the science that it says it can do, hey, you know, shit, I'm not going to say no here, right? I'm not one that looks in the future. All I do is look at the daily and the weekly, right? That said, I've said it a bunch of times, moving averages are hard to break, all right? There is a hard cluster right here as well. All 5 are basically a stone throw away. For sure, these 4 are super tight with this one just above it. You know what I mean? So I just see it being hard to break this, what is it, 6.3? If you can break 6.3, let's call it 6.5, oh man, it could actually be a hard rip, right? And again, the worst thing that could happen is lose the cluster, go below 4.9, hit 4.8, and again, red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 all the way down to 4.20, right? And that's not a good 4.20 right there. So yeah, it's this one's in a tricky little situation, right? It's more than likely gonna go horizontal for a bit if I had to guess, because again, it's done it before. it's basically that got a good escape, came back in, now back in, right? So we're starting to do some like crazy oscillation stuff, but I think the moving averages are probably going to catch it because, again, just as I zoom back, it tends to actually trade in the moving averages, if not relatively below it, right? So one more time, 6.5 is the money line for real. All right. I probably wouldn't trade it. I'll be real honest, but I could easily see the argument from going from 0.55 to 0.63. You're almost adding a penny on a 5 cent. That's a what's 1 out of 5? That's 20%, right? Yeah, it's a 20% swing. That's all day, man. 20% are beautiful. You know what I mean? But volume is just starting to get a little shady. All right, we had some really, really, really goods, some holding decents, and now we're kind of starting to get back into these little kind of volume levels, right? And that's not what you want, especially stuck in moving averages, right? So I'll be honest, I don't see this thing dropping to 420, but at the same time, I don't really see this thing breaking 6.6 or 6.5 either. I actually generally see this living in this 5.5 cent world, if I had to guess. MACD is relatively flat, RSI is relatively flat, and like I said, volume's king, and there's not, I obviously see that there's more buying than selling, but it needs to be in the teens of millions, otherwise it's I don't see too much happening. So again, even in the weekly, man, there are a lot of moving averages really close and basically going horizontal. And again, interesting. This one hasn't gone as long horizontal, which makes sense. But yeah, I just kind of see it like living within this line. What's this one? This one actually says 6.3. Interesting. This one says 0.65. So yeah, I think that's the best I got here. So hey, let me know what you think. You know I'm not going to get offended if you disagree. Otherwise, appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.